and welcome to this episode of Conversation with a Chef. I'm Jo Ritty and I love sharing with you the conversations I get to have with talented and passionate chefs. It's the backstory, if you will, to the food they're putting up. I begin today by acknowledging the Wurundjeri and the Bunwurrung people of the Kulin Nation, traditional custodians of the lands and airwaves of Naarm where this conversation takes place. Land which was never ceded. Land where communities came together to eat seasonally, locally and without exhausting resources. I pay my respects to their elders past, present and rising. Now, if you're into excellent croissant and inventive viennoiserie, think chocolate fondant croissant, you'll have heard of penny for pound. Pastry chef Matilda Smith and her partner in life and business Ben Wilson opened their original hole-in-the-wall shop in Richmond in 2018. They quickly garnered a following and penny for pound became the go-to spot for Richmond locals craving the perfect croissant fix. What's even better, croissants are baked 3 times daily at 8am, 10am and midday, so if you time it right, you can get a warm, buttery croissant straight from the oven. The pair then went on to expand their business to a shop in Camberwell, a new space in Richmond when the old place was no longer available, and a 100 square metre HQ in Moorabbin's Moor precinct. It's not all about the croissant anymore. With 2 production kitchens, a 130-seat cafe and a dine-in menu that caters to every palate, it's an impressive operation. Matilda took me for a tour of the kitchens and then we sat down and had a chat about how she got into it, where she gets her inspiration and how much she loves teaching and passing on her knowledge. Matilda changes the menu monthly at penny for pound, and coming up there will be the chocolate fondant croissant for Valentine's Day and then hot cross buns, traditional single origin chocolate, coffee using coffee from Axil and a sticky date and caramel. In addition, Matilda and Ben have opened Holla Gelato next door to the Moorabbin store, and Matilda's working on a hot cross bun ice cream sandwich, which will have burnt butter and salted honey gelato in the middle of a toasted hot cross bun. I'll leave that with you. Now, during the first 6 minutes or so, I'm sharing the tour through the kitchen, so it's a little bit like an audio Blair Witch Project kind of style, and Matilda explains processes and so on, and you will feel as though you're there. Then after that, we leap into the chat. How are you?
Very well, how are you?
Yeah, good. Nice to see you again.
Yeah. Thanks for coming down.
Of course, yeah.
Very exciting place. So this is our Moorabbin.
Yeah.
I think last time we met was at Richmond.
It was.
We were just about to reopen.
Was that March? Is it as long ago as that? I sort of think it was a long time ago.
It must be, because we closed over Christmas and then took like 6 weeks or something to renovate and then reopen. So it probably was as long ago as March.
I can't believe it's been that long.
But March reopening for Richmond, was it? Yeah, there you go. Yeah, so yes, it wasn't that long ago.
Yeah.
What do you want to do? Shall I take you for a tour? Do you want to sit with a coffee?
Sure.
I've never done one of these things before.
Okay, well,
I'm a little bit nervous.
No, not at all. Let's go for a tour.
Yeah.
That'd be nice.
Okay.
And then we can have a chat about, how you got to here.
Amazing. All right, cool. Well, we'll start at the front, we designed the space. Obviously, we had Richmond's tiny little store and then we needed more space, obviously, so we were given this big glass box and they sort of said, fill it in how you want. So we sort of wanted to keep the same feel as Richmond, like nice and open. So we're sort of in between shifts now, which is... Probably should have got you out here when there was more happening, but strategically I was like, this is my downtime. So morning team is gone, so normally they're in there sort of rolling all their croissants and stuff and nice and open. And
how many would be in there at one time?
They usually have 5 in there, and they start early. They start at like 4 a.m, baking off everything all nice and fresh for the day, laminating all their doughs, and then they're sort of in their DVDs all morning. Usually 5 of them in there. So stocking the pastry display. We've got cakes and pastries, and we try to do like a monthly menu. Each month new flavours come out.
Because I was going to talk to you before Christmas about the mince pies, but
well, we're now doing Easter.
I was going to say, you probably started for Easter, yeah.
We have, we've just been finalising some packaging and
but
stuff.
But you have different things every month anyway. So,
every month, we do a new menu every month.
Wow.
So just keep it interesting. We've got, some things that never come off. We never take off, butter croissant, almond croissant, some things that just always stay.
And do you have several bakes a day for the croissant here as well? Or is
at each store we do. We try to do 8 a.m, 10 a.m, and midday, so 3 points in the day. Just so you can hopefully get a a warm one.
Yeah,
or,
yeah.
Yeah, come and I'll give you a quick little tour of the
Great.
kitchen. This is our kitchen. This is Brendan and Zoe. This is Joe.
Hi.
So yeah, they do all of our plated dishes, obviously.
That smells
they're just
delicious.
working on a new menu now. So
It smells fruity. Am I smelling fruit?
probably, I think Zoe's just been doing some vanilla and rosemary roasted peaches
Oh,
for her new French toast dish. So that'll be exciting. They do the hot kitchen menu like once a year, like pretty much. Yeah, with some seasonal things on. Once again, there's a few things that don't ever come off.
Yeah.
But this is the main production space. So yeah, we're sort of in the middle of a changing of the guards now. Bakery team stays here all day, but we do pastry team tend to have like early morning starters, and
Okay.
they have starters late in the afternoon as well.
Oh, wow.
And they do all our wholesale.
Oh, okay,
So
okay.
they'll tray up and get everything done, and then 10 delivery drivers here at about midnight. And
That's such a high
it's go.
production now, isn't it? It's amazing.
It is. We're sort of almost 24 hours, which is like, trying to make the most of the space and figure out those key points and times of when people need things. Obviously, the cafe's wholesale orders, they need everything there by 6 a.m. They're open, so working through the night to be able to do that.
Yeah. Real bakery hours.
Yes, it is. Yeah, absolutely. So just getting set up for wholesale bake off tonight. Like making some brioche buns over there for burgers and stuff. All our big mixers, walk-in fridges and freezers over the back there.
Oh, it's huge, isn't it?
All of our, we've got a little ice cream shop as well in the corner.
Okay, oh, that's you as well.
Yeah, that's us as well. So we make everything here, and I know it's crazy. And then one of our other Cubo, which is like an amazing tool that we use a lot for like cooks under pressure and vacuum and all that sort of stuff. So we make all of our own jams and caramels and all that sort of stuff. And
Okay.
we cook in there under pressure,
I see.
so it doesn't oxidise and keeps a really nice red colour of the dairies for your jams and all that sort of stuff. We're going to do like a plum and walnut danishes and like a chocolate fondant croissant with like a gooey middle.
Yeah, wow.
Trying to go a little bit Valentine's-y for
Okay.
February without being too cheesy, but I know it's Valentine's Day, really crazy, right? So we're trying to have a little something. We'll put a few cute things on there and some berry things and make it a little bit festive.
It's good though, isn't it? Because it feels like, obviously you're one of those chefs who is constantly curious, and it must keep it interesting if you keep looking for new things to do. Yeah, there's always something to plan for or think about.
Different seasonal things.
Yeah.
Trying to keep it interesting for the staff and the customers. And we're going to do this year for our hot cross buns. So people like something a bit different, but with hot cross buns, it's quite protective of them as well, and like them traditional. So this year we're going to do like our 3 flavours of hot cross buns that we did last year, but we're going to do a collaboration with Holla and do like a hot cross bun ice cream sandwiches almost.
Oh, yum.
Yeah, so the traditional ones I've just tested like a burnt butter and salted honey gelato to put in the middle, and like the butter inside the toasted bun, melty gelato, and then we're going to do a single origin chocolate one with one of our friends who owns a chocolate shop, and then a coffee one with our coffee supplier Axil.
Okay.
To go inside the sticky date one, coffee caramel. So
Delicious.
yes, so it's all happening. So doing a few testers, got some ovens here, walk-in provers, they're proving all of our breads and stuff. This is all of our sourdough, like sitting in their little baskets, and they prove it up to a certain point and then retarded in the fridge.
Okay.
So like a nice long slow ferment to be baked off tomorrow. So that, like the croissants as well, like a 90-day process.
Yeah.
That's HQ. Sorry, you can get flour on your nice shoes.
No, it's all right. I love it. Amongst it.
Yeah, absolutely. You're a bit of a Francophile as well, I seem to remember.
That's absolutely right. I was reading about your mum being a Francophile, and I was like,
yes. She is. We did, it was years ago now, but one of Mum's like high points of her whole life was she got all 3 of her adult children in Paris to celebrate a white Christmas together about probably... Thank you. Not for now, we're okay. Thanks, Daniel. It was probably about 8 years ago now or something, but...
amazing.
Yes. Yeah, to get everybody... We were all living in different spots at the time, and
So where does that come from? Does she speak French?
Yeah, she speaks French. She learned it at high school, and then I think she sort of forgot about it for a lot of her life, and then we kids learned French at high school as well. And I don't know, I think that just reignited something in her, and she remembered it, and yeah, she really took it and ran with it. So she joined the Alliance Française, and she goes to France like quite often. And yes, she is. She's one of those women that's very all or nothing. Definitely all in with the French.
Oh, I love that.
French movies, French everything.
And it was your mum that suggested you go to the Cordon Bleu.
It was, Well, yes, being the Francophile, so.
Because what were you doing before
I was living in Sydney, and I was studying at uni. I was studying arts. Okay. I was pretty much doing a I don't know what I want to do with my life degree, you know. So I signed on up, and academia just wasn't for me. But I was just there because I didn't know what else to do. And then doing a part-time job, like just waitressing, and always cooking, you know, just in my spare time. And I've done that since I was a little kid, you know. And I wasn't having an existential crisis or anything, but I was probably just drifting a bit and floating, and Mum was sort of like, well, when you figure out what you like, you know, you love cooking, like you could actually do that as a job, you know. And I was like, oh yeah, I think I'd growing up at school, it's sort of like you were never asked like, are you going to go to uni? It was like, what are you going to do at uni? And
I understand. And that's kind of and I just feel like more increasingly, I think it's good to recognise that kids all have different things that they're into. And
absolutely.
Not everyone should go to uni.
Absolutely. And I think, it's funny, we keep on coming back to France, but I feel like in France, like trades and, you know, professions like that are really valued, you know, like a chef or a baker or even I remember when I was there, they had, you know how we have MasterChef and stuff, they had like France's best. And they had like a whole different, and there was France's best hairdresser when I was there. They had competitions, it was televised and whatever, and I'm like that's such a, here, like trades like that are, you know, not looked down on, but you know, if your kid said, oh, I'm going to become a hairdresser, I'm sure parents would be like, oh, you don't want to be a doctor or a lawyer or, you know.
Absolutely, that's right. And it's a lot more, you know, there's a lot of artisanal trades over there as well that are really heroes. And
I hope it keeps going, but I like, you know, I mean, bakery and stuff, I hear that a lot of patisseries over there and stuff now, just with the wages and ingredients costs and all that sort of stuff, even a lot of local bakeries now apparently are buying in par-baked frozen croissants and things just because they can't compete, and, you know, staff shortages and all that sort of stuff. But they did pass a law on that, so it can only be called a boulangerie if it's baked on the premises. So you know, so it's a viennoiserie if it's brought in from a so you do know when you're going in, you know, like, and that's your choice. Because I remember a few years ago, well, quite a few years ago when I was there, they had this whole article, and it was called à la recherche du pain perdu, and for French, so that's a play on the Proust novel, but pain perdu being French toast as well. But they were in search of, you know, lost bread because everyone was doing that frozen bread thing, and
then
losing the art.
And then they passed this law, and I was like, oh, it's so French.
That is so French, isn't it, as well? I'm sure there was probably a few strikes around it as well. It's funny, isn't it?
I've spoken to a few people that have gone through the Cordon Bleu, and a couple of them went to Paris to do it. So Mariana Shadid from Brûlé in Port Melbourne, and also a while ago since I spoke to him, but the young pastry chef in Abbotsford who is
I think I know the one, but
making amazing things. He's got this gorgeous chandeliered, tiny little hole in the wall place.
I think I know of it, but I can't remember the name.
And
I think it's something Parisian or something. I think it's a bit Frenchy, the name. I can't remember.
So it sort of astounds me. 9 months doesn't sound very long to come out and be so proficient.
No. It's not. And I was a mature age. Like I think I went there when I was 27 or something. Like I was quite old. So I was very deliberately like fast tracking myself almost. Just because I was like, I don't want to be a mature age apprentice for 3 years, you know, and like, you know, not getting any younger. But I think really the most valuable part of it, and where I learned the most, was the 6 months of industry placement that you have to do at the end. So like I think,
is that after the 9 months, or is it?
Yeah, so you do three. You do like there's a basic, intermediate, and superior course, which is, you go to class, you do all your theory, which is like the Australian government, like the TAFE courses where you do your food safety and OH&S and all that sort of stuff. And then you do like I can't remember what they used to call it, like a theory class and then a practical. So you'd sit down and you'd learn the history behind and the science behind puff pastry or whatever it is. And then you go and you watch the chef make it, they do the full demo, and then you go to class and you spend, your 4-hour lesson or whatever making the item that you've just seen, which is great. And it gives you a really great base knowledge of how to make these things and the science behind it. And I mean, it's a pretty good class. But one of the things that they don't teach you is working with a sense of urgency, how to do things, how to scale things, how to multitask, how to, in the real world, obviously, you're never going to spend 4 hours making one galette d'oeil. Like you couldn't do it. Thank you, Steph. Thank you. So yeah, that's where I think the industry placement 6 months that you do, and we have placement students who come here, and I always say to them, like, you've done a really great basic foundation on, like, yes, how to do your puff pastry folds and, how to technically do all these things. But, one of the things we're going to teach you is how to work in a busy environment where you've got a few things on the boil, and how to set up your workflow so that you can work in an efficient way, and, how to be a good employee, like I always say, like, the work experience that you come here and do, it's not just about making cakes and things, but it's how to be a professional in an environment as well, and how to respect the team around you and take it seriously, and bring a notebook and have a certain level of polish and all those things. If you're going to be a professional and in the industry, and it's a small industry, like you get people applying and they might list places they've had experience but don't put any references, and I'm like, well, I know the owner there, we're mates, we used to work together at wherever, so it's definitely a small industry. Yeah, but I mean, I think the industry placement part of the cordon bleu trade is really where you get a lot of value. Yeah,
and I feel like pastry is so precise, and you can't just be throwing in things as you do with cooking savoury, for want of a better term.
Yeah, well, what do they say? Cooking's an art and baking's a science.
Yeah, well, yeah. So what drew you? What made you go the way of pastry rather than because you cooked a lot as well growing up?
I do. Yeah, and I mean, I enjoy cooking. I like cooking, meals for the family and playing around with savouries as well. But yeah, pastry. I think growing up, pastry was always my go-to. I'm not sure if it's just because my whole family has a bit of a sweet tooth, my brother and my mum particularly, probably. But yeah, we always had, the Women's Weekly Cookbook and that sort of stuff, and you'd be making, a chocolate slice or something. You'd always tell which recipe we liked because the page had smatterings of like chocolate sauce and it was filthy. And one particular tray as well that from making the chocolate slice that Mum used to make for every, school fete and all that sort of stuff. And we had one tray that had just like hundreds and hundreds of indentations and cuts and slices from, 6 years of school fetes and that being whipped out every time. I don't know, baking, I think it was a pastime that, my sister and I used to do together. And so I guess that's probably part of it. Oh, and also probably I'm vegetarian as well, so maybe that has something to do with it.
Oh, yeah.
That there's a certain level of, I think there's like a buttery section if you do the cuisine course.
It would be hard if you're vegetarian.
Yeah, 100%. So even now, like I eat, dairy and eggs and all that sort of stuff. But when I started at Le Cordon Bleu, I was quite consciously, I didn't eat gelatin, but I've since become more relaxed on that just because of necessity from what we make and what we produce.
And so then, so you were in Sydney and you were with the Moorabbin group.
So I studied at Le Cordon Bleu out there, and then I actually did my industry placement at Moorabbin in their like meetings and events, they called it. So they did everything from corporate lunches and breakfast meetings and that sort of stuff through to weddings in the Ivy Ballroom and food festivals that had 5,000 people and just a whole range of things. Got a really varied sort of experience there, I suppose. we did. Yeah, there was little bespoke dinners where you did a plate up dessert for 12 people, and then there was big catering gigs, and so we definitely learned a lot. It was a pretty crazy company to work for at a pretty crazy time, I think. And I think coming from that, I'm very conscious of how much the industry has changed, like for the better, generally, in terms of, hours and what's expected. And at the time, I sort of probably didn't realise just how crazy it was. And I think because we had our little crew as well in this, we were pumping out some serious product and volumes, and there was like 4 key pastry chefs in that section, and it was like a little family, like war buddies or something, You come out the other side, and I just sort of think back of it, and we've discussed it in the years since, but a couple of them have actually started their own business, and looking back on it now, you think, oh my god, like how was that the norm, and how did we do those sort of hours, and So I think the industry's changed a lot for the better.
Yeah.
It was unsustainable to expect people to do that sort of
it's pretty crazy what people have had to go through to, and I think there's a level, some chefs you speak to, and there's a level of, well, to get good at anything you have to do, you've got to put in the hours, but there is, as you say, the sustainability side of things as well, and you can put in the hours, but you need to be paid for them.
Absolutely. But I think no business, I don't think, could ever, no business could be sustainable paying overtime rates that you have to pay if they were going to make chefs do that.
No.
So I think it's good these days that things are, people keep an eye on things a bit more, and I think the industry's been through a funny few years with all of the wage things that have happened, and crackdowns on all that sort of stuff, and with COVID, and just so much happening. It's been through a really rough few years, and a lot of people wanted to get out. We've been running our bakery section for just shy of 2 years now. And there were heaps of people who wanted to be bakers, and then there was absolutely nobody for about a period of 6 months when everybody had gotten out.
It's astounding, isn't it? And interesting too that so many people were home bakers over lockdown. Those people got into making.
Well, maybe they have.
I don't know. And then, but commercially or professionally, that's interesting. Wow.
But I feel like people are returning to it now, and we've got a really great little core team at the moment. So
so did you imagine when you were, when you were first starting out, and was it always your idea to have your own place?
I think, everybody romanticizes it a little bit. I'm sure if you spoke to any chef who was studying Le Cordon Bleu, most people would say, I'd love to have my own thing one day. Had I sort of sat down and done a business plan and figured out exactly what that would look like? Absolutely not. I remember when I was working at a cafe in Sydney when I was putting myself through school, and sort of started talking about the idea loosely. One of the chefs who was working there at the time said, you're crazy. Why would you say you're buying yourself a job? Why would you do that? And I was like, wow, okay.
It's a bit rough.
It's a bit rough. I think, definitely, I definitely wouldn't have started anything if it wasn't for my partner Ben. He's definitely the businessy sort of. He did a Bachelor of Business at uni. He's managed restaurants before.
Okay.
We're sort of a little bit yin and yang. So yes, he's like the general manager, and I'm like the head pastry chef.
Yeah.
So he looks after business. I think he might look after kitchen operations. But no, I definitely wouldn't have done it if it wasn't for him. He's been absolutely instrumental, and I think he's the one with a bit of vision and stuff as well. When we got into hospitality, wages were lowly, hours were crazy. For a woman who wanted to do it, if you wanted to start a family or anything, there was just no way to really, progress your career or make it work, or, have any sort of, growth, I suppose, if you wanted to take some time off and have a bit of flexibility. And so I think starting our own thing was, a bit of a gamble and things, but work-life balance is a term that's thrown around a fair bit, and I'm not saying that I have it right now, but I think to be able to take some time off, figure out what hours you want to work, figure out what's important to you with 2 little kids, starting our own thing is, to a point, and we're still getting there, but allowed us to be a bit flexible with that.
Okay.
So I can make my own hours. And I can, if Friday morning is swimming lessons, Ben and I can both be there, and I don't have to, I sort of always have to be here, but we can control it a little bit at the same time, if that makes sense.
And it's, you're really successful. You've got these 3, this is a massive place, and you're doing the wholesale as well as, having the customers come into the cafe, and it's the same. I haven't been to the Camberwell one, but
Camberwell, similar vibe to Richmond. So there's pastries, bread, toasted sambos, coffee, a few little tables and stuff. No dine-in menu. This is definitely our flagship and our our headquarters. We call it our headquarters. Where all the pastries are made, and
what do you reckon? Because I feel like lots of places pop up, and places, lots of people do croissant and lots of people do bread, and so why are you so successful?
Well, I don't know, that's a tricky word as well, because I think I mean this is a beautiful space and we love it, but I think you can definitely have the illusion of success as well. We're getting there, but we've got huge debts to pay, to pay for the build of this, and like everyone, we're making it work, but it's a hard grind, and I think Ben and I have both learnt, through running this thing for the last 7 years, and through COVID and through growing pains and all this sort of stuff. I think as a chef, but as an owner, you've got to be comfortable to make some really tricky decisions, I think. I think just because a place has a beautiful big cafe or something attached to it, there's lots of layers to success, I suppose, as well. And, we've made some real sacrifices to, if I'm being brutally honest. And I think we wouldn't have been able to do this if we weren't so just violently stubborn in the first 3 and 4 years of running this thing, and literally doing everything that we had to do to make it work. I guess what I mean too is that you do have a following, so people really love your pastries and bread. I mean, Richmond's always, often when I go past here, it's really busy. So I guess that's Richmond
what I mean.
Was our original home. I don't know. I think I think Ben and I are both people to a certain extent, and I think Richmond early days, we've got a lot of customers who have been with us since the start, and I mean, it sounds cheesy, but who have seen us grow up, who have seen me there rolling pastries while I'm 8 months pregnant with my first daughter, and Ben behind the counter, and they've literally seen us grow up as a family, as a business, we pop something up on Instagram or something, they're always the first ones to comment and say we'll pop in. And we do have a really loyal group of pastry lovers, and it's something that we really appreciate. But I don't know if it's just from being there and being present in the business, and I don't know, maybe.
Well, I mean, good product though as well, and I think the fact that you do keep innovating, but you've got your consistency with the the croissant and those base products that you do. I'm always fascinated by this laminating thing with pastry, and when I spoke to Mariana at Brûlée, she was talking about you need a certain kind of butter, like a dry butter. And I guess that must change with different. I suppose it must be temperature controlled in that room, is it? Because I would say
the most over-spec air conditioning in the whole city.
Because I feel like it's so crazy out there at the moment and so humid. You'd have to be aware of all that, don't you?
Do. So we've got some great aircon in there, and obviously, we work with, temperatures, but also the textures of things. So I think sometimes people think, okay, you have to keep your dough as cold as possible and your butter as cold as possible. But really, it's not about the temperatures being the same, it's about the textures being the same. I'm sure you know a bit about lamination, and that you essentially want to encase your butter in your dough and then roll it out, so it needs to be uniform. So rather than the temperatures being the same, the texture and consistency of the two products needs to be the same. So I always get my guys, if I'm teaching somebody how to laminate for the first time, we always say the butter needs to be malleable. So I grab a sheet of the butter and we bend it over the side of the bench. And if it can bend over the side of the bench, that's how we check that, as a newbie, that's how you would check, or how our team would check, that the butter's malleable and able to be rolled out and all, without cracking or anything like that. So that's my little hot tip for my newbies when I'm teaching them to laminate. Yeah.
And it must be different in France as opposed to here because of different flours and things. I think about the baguette and how people make really great bread here, but it's never the same as a French baguette in
that's true.
France. Is that what?
Yeah, it might be flour. It might be flours and things.
Water?
There's probably. Yeah, you're probably right as well. With 3 ingredients, right? Flour, water, salt. No, but even, speaking about butter and stuff, like apparently even the cow's diet, can change, what the butter and the cream is like. So, and we use Australian milled flour. We don't get our flour from France. We use Australian flour. With the change in seasons, again, things have different amounts of protein and gluten, and it gets quite scientific. You can really nerd out about it. They send you like a spec sheet which actually has a full breakdown of sugars and glutens and all of the things that as a baker you would need to know to be able to get as consistent a result as possible across the change of seasons.
Wow.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it can get very sciencey.
I hadn't even thought about it, and I thought about measuring things, but I hadn't thought about it to that extent. So that's quite fascinating.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And when you're thinking of your different seasonal or even different monthly specials or menus, where do you get your inspiration? Is it books? Is it online? Is it just from your knowledge of how things work?
I usually, I like to try to think about the customer and have a little bit of something for everybody. So if we're designing a new menu, we usually like to have my old head chef used to say, something for me, something for, I can't remember. It was like something for him, something for her, and something for Nan, I think it was. So I would usually have something, a little bit chocolatey and decadent, and then they'd have something fruity and lighter, and then something a bit classic and really accessible, So just that idea of thinking about everybody who might come in, we try to be a pretty, family-friendly place. We like to be inclusive, so something for everybody. So I usually sort of work on that, seasonal fruits. So that's somewhere I would definitely start, and then something a little bit decadent. And as you say, we've been trading for 7 years now, so we've got a bit of an idea of the sort of style of things that our customers like as well. It's sort of funny. People really like classic flavours done well, or like a modern version of something that they're really familiar with. So they love it if you take a candy bar or a classic dessert or something like that and put a bit of a spin on it. They're always really super popular flavours. It's true, we're creatures of habit, so people like something familiar in a way. That's right. But done in a different way.
Yeah. Wow.
Definitely. And also, staff and customer recommendations as well, of what they've liked in the past, or if somebody sees something, they went out for dessert somewhere and had something, or
Do you have notebooks where you write things down, or is it just, okay?
I've got thousands of things scrawled and drafted, and little sketches and drawings, and 100%. It's fun to look back on, actually.
Yeah, that is good. Wow, that's cool. Do you reckon you'd do a book one day?
I don't know. Maybe. Yeah, sure. Why not? I would love to do that. Yeah, I think I do quite like teaching. I like teaching new staff members. We've talked about doing classes and stuff in the past, which we haven't finalised, but it's something I would like to do. I think I like explaining how and why, and sort of going through things quite methodically. So I don't know, maybe it would be maybe a cookbook would be a good idea one day. I don't know.
So I guess with all that in mind, and from the point of view that, as you said, you're a mature age student when you started, so you had a bit more life experience and so on. What would be your advice to a young person or a mature age person who is thinking about becoming a chef?
My advice. Oh gosh, that's a good question. I think that, for anybody who's starting out in my kitchen, I always tell them that they're going to get out of it what they put in, especially to our students that we have, or any apprentices. I suppose to take it seriously. I tell everybody to bring a notebook. And I feel like in the kitchen and probably everywhere in life, people will invest in you if you return the favour. I like to think we've always got our staff back because they've got ours. I'd say you'll get out of it what you put in.
Great. Thank you.
No worries.
Perfect. Thanks so much for listening to this episode of Conversation with a Chef with Matilda Smith at Penny for Pound. If you liked what you heard, you can check out all the goodness on Instagram at Penny for Pound. Maybe with my New Zealand accent that's not quite clear. It's PENNYFORPOUND, and Holla Gelato, that's HOLLAGELATO. If you'd like to hear more stories from other chefs, I'm on Instagram at Conversation with a Chef. You can read the chat and become a subscriber at www.conversationwithachef.com. I would love it if you told a friend about my chats, and of course you can continue to follow me. That's a bit thinking I'm pretty good. But you can follow me on Apple and Spotify podcasts, also Audible and Amazon if that's your bag. Once again, thanks so much for listening. Have a great day and bon appetit.